What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of When Tough Guys Rule the Cinema. I'm editor-in-chief of ReviewFix.com, Patrick Hickey Jr., and this week we will be discussing Bloodsport. Not only is Bloodsport the movie that possibly ruined cinema by introducing us really to Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's one of Van Damme's first, one of his first big roles. It's introduced us to a ton of other really bad actors or overrated actors such as Bolo Young and Donald Gibb. You know, the guy that's on all those American Express commercials or whatever bank, and it's like, what's in your wallet? There's really bad acting in this film. Bottom line, the story centers around Jean-Claude Van Damme, who is playing Frank Dux, D-U-X, for all you spelling bee champions out there, and who has entered a tournament called the Kumite, which is kind of like an ultimate fighting tournament in I'm pretty sure it's like in Hong Kong. Yeah, it's in Hong Kong, and it's hidden, and nobody knows about it except for the FBI. So pretty interesting stuff. So the FBI or the Secret Service or whatever, they go there and they're trying to watch Frank Dux in this tournament, make sure that he's safe and whatnot, and he ends up befriending a American reporter who's trying to find out, information about this, and she is trying to write a story about it, and she falls in love with Jean-Claude Van Damme, muscles from Brussels, and what you have is a Razzie-nominated performance that is incredibly corny, full of montages galore, and just horrible acting, really, really bad fighting scenes, and it's just an undeniable disaster. But if you ask people if they like the film or not, they'll tell you yes. Why? Because it's so bad, it's good. It's corny, it's over the top. Van Damme is so bad, he's amazing, and again, you really can't beat 80s Velveeta, 80s cheese like this. So between the powder getting thrown in the eyes and the really bad fighting scenes in here, I mean, Bolo Young is built like a truck, but the guy was in Bruce Lee movies 20 years before. He's kind of a little out of his prime, So with him being the main bad guy and Donald Gibb being so over the top, he's this big burly dude and just beating up people left and right because I'm Donald Gibb and what's in your wallet, blah blah. And it's just horrible, yet genius at the same time. Little funny side story. After this, Frank Dux thought that this was going to be like his ticket, like kind of into the big time, and he ended up befriending Van Damme, and they wanted to work on all these projects together. And then many people found out, a lot of people found out, that many of the elements of Frank Dux' story were fabricated, that there may not be a thing called the Kumite, and that he might in fact not be the martial arts master that he presented himself to be in his in this screenplay. I don't even know if this was a book, and who cares? But I bought this on DVD, I'd say about 8 years ago, and I remember the person that I bought it with was pretty sad. She could not believe that I was actually buying this on DVD, and I ended up never going out with her, and I think this movie was the reason why. Maybe it had nothing to do with anything else, right? It had to be this. So I just love, though, the last line of the box. It says, and when Van Damme's Dukes step onto the mat, Bloodsport is not just a sport, it's a war. The only war that will be going on during this movie is your brain telling you to stop watching. But there'll be something in your heart that will tell you to continue, and as a result, Bloodsport is ultimately enjoyable, even though you might not want to tell any of your friends about it. Take it easy.